Merci beaucoup tout le monde d'être venu aujourd'hui. Hier, on a appris que la famille Trudeau a reçu presque 300 000 $ d'un organisme auquel Justin Trudeau s'est personnellement intervenu afin d'envoyer un contrat sans compétition d'1 milliard de dollars. C'est sans précédent. Permettez-moi de revoir tous les faits. Premièrement, le programme en question pour les bénévoles des jeunes existe déjà. Ça s'appelle l'employé. C'est mené depuis des décennies par des fonctionnaires. Alors, on n'avait pas besoin de notre programme. Par contre, le Premier ministre en a créé un d'1 milliard de dollars. Il a envoyé le contrat à un organisme disant qu'il n'y avait aucun autre, y compris la fonction publique, capable de le mener. Il a participé dans la décision. Il ne s'est pas retiré malgré ses liens familiaux. Et hier, on a appris que sa famille a reçu presque 300 000 $ directement de cet organisme, supposément pour des frais des discours. Donc, ce n'est pas simplement un conflit d'intérêts. C'est plus sérieux que ça. On a encore un premier ministre qui a utilisé ses pouvoirs afin d'avantager un organisme lié à lui et sa famille. Selon le Code criminel, le 121.1a, intitulé Fraude envers le gouvernement, commet une infraction quiconque selon le cas, qui a directement ou indirectement, soit étant fonctionnaire, exige ou accepte, offre ou convient d'accepter de quelqu'un pour lui-même ou pour une autre personne, un prêt, une récompense, un avantage ou un bénéfice de quelque nature, que ce soit en considération d'une collaboration, d'une aide, d'un exercice d'influence, d'un acte ou omission concernant, soit la conclusion d'affaires avec le gouvernement ou un sujet d'affaires ayant trait au gouvernement, soit une réclamation contre Sa Majesté ou un avantage que Sa Majesté a l'autorité ou le droit d'accorder. Que, de fait, le fonctionnaire soit en mesure ou non de collaborer, d'aider, d'exercer une influence ou de faire ou omettre ce qui était projeté selon le cas. Donc, il y a une section dans le Code criminel qui pourrait être en jeu. Nous voulons qu'une force policière fait enquête pour savoir si cette section s'applique. On ne sait pas, on n'a pas tous les faits, mais une telle décision, une telle intervention par un premier ministre pour accorder un contrat de presque 1 milliard de dollars pour un programme qui existait déjà au sein du gouvernement et du fonction publique à un organisme qui a payé sa famille près de 300 000 $ à le niveau de sérieuxité et d'importance qu'il nous faut une enquête, une vraie enquête par les policiers. Donc, c'est ce que le Parti conservateur revendique aujourd'hui. Il y a beaucoup de questions. Les autres ministres qui ont participé à la décision d'accorder ce contrat, est-ce que le premier ministre les a informés de l'argent que sa famille avait reçu? Est-ce que les fonctionnaires qui ont été ordonnés de mettre en place ce contrat et de créer ce programme, est-ce que le premier ministre les a informés de l'intérêt financier que sa famille avait auparavant? Est-ce que le premier ministre a demandé l'approvisionnement du conseiller, de la commissaire à l'éthique pour savoir si c'était légal et éthique de s'y ingérer comme il l'a fait. Celles sont juste une partie des questions. Aussi, il faut savoir, le premier ministre dit ne pas avoir été payé personnellement par l'organisme, mais est-ce qu'il était payé, il était payé par l'entremise d'une agence pour sa participation avec l'organisme? On parle celles sont des questions auxquelles nous devons recevoir des réponses. Donc, le Premier ministre s'est comporté de façon d'un dictateur qui aide ses amis. C'est presque sans précédent au Canada, même dans la période actuelle et moderne, qu'un Premier ministre se comporte comme ça. Donc, il nous faut qu'il rende des comptes et que les Canadiens sachent des faits et que le Premier ministre soit enquêté de façon appropriée si oui ou non il a enfreint la loi. Et c'est ce que le Parti conservateur revendique aujourd'hui. Merci beaucoup et j'invite mon collègue qui est le porte-parole en matière de l'éthique, Michael Barrett, à vous présenter en anglais. Merci.
Thanks very much to Pierre for opening things up. And it's always a sad day when Canadians look to their Prime Minister and see that he is yet again under investigation. Justin Trudeau having the distinction of being the only Prime Minister found guilty of breaking the Conflict of Interest Act, and then again, a second time being found guilty of breaking the Conflict of Interest Act. Now, a third time under investigation, and the circumstances are very serious. We heard a few weeks ago that the Prime Minister believed that this organization, the We Charity, was the only organization that could deliver on this nearly $1 billion program to help students. Now, this is curious in and of itself, because we know that the federal public service is currently and ably delivering on the Canada Summer Jobs program, which they have for many years. And this program is oversubscribed. There are many approved jobs that haven't received funding. But the Prime Minister created a separate stream, this nearly $1 billion program, and awarded it in a sole-sourced contract to this organization, the We Charity. This is highly unusual, and it's unusual because the Prime Minister has direct ties to this organization, and we know that his family has direct ties to the organization. Originally, we heard that there were no financial ties. That's what the line was from all concerned. But now we know that not to be true, and that nearing $350,000 has been paid to the benefit of Justin Trudeau's family members by the organization that he has now awarded a sole-sourced nearly $1 billion contract to. This organization has its principals are campaign donors of Justin Trudeau's. One of the principals is an appointee to a federal commission by Justin Trudeau. And we heard on Thursday that from the Prime Minister himself that he did not recuse himself from discussions at Cabinet when making the decision to award this sole-sourced contract. We know that the Conflict of Interest and Ethics Commissioner, following on his receipt of my letter and consideration of the terms that I laid out in it, believes that there are sufficient grounds for an investigation for a violation of the Conflict of Interest Act. But what's more is the Canadian Criminal Code does have a section that relates directly to this situation, and Section 121(1) details the relation between this situation and the Canadian Criminal Code, and that's why it's now essential that we have a criminal investigation into this matter. The code says that everyone commits an offense who directly or indirectly gives, offers, or agrees to give or offer to an official or to any member of his family or to anyone for the benefit of an official, or being an official demands, accepts, or offers or agrees to accept from any person for himself or another person a loan, reward, advantage, or benefit of any kind as consideration for cooperation, assistance, exercise of influence, or an act of omission in connection with the transaction of business with or any matter of business relating to the government, or a claim against Her Majesty or any benefit that Her Majesty is authorized or is entitled to bestow, whether or not, in fact, the official is able to cooperate, render assistance, exercise influence, or do or omit to do what is proposed as the case may be. It goes on that having dealings of any kind with the government directly or indirectly pays a commission or reward to or confers an advantage or benefit of any kind on an employee or official of the government with which the dealings take place, or to any member of the employee's or official's family, or to anyone for the benefit of the employee or official with respect to those dealings, unless the person has the consent in writing of the head of the branch of government with which the dealings take place. Being an official or employee of the government directly or indirectly demands, accepts, or offers, or agrees to accept from a person who has dealings with the government a commission, reward, advantage, or benefit of any kind for themselves or another person, unless they have the consent in writing of the head of the branch of government that employs them with which they are official, and having or pretending to have influence with the government or with a minister of the government or an official directly or indirectly demands, accepts, or offers or agrees to accept for themselves or any other person a reward, advantage, or benefit of any kind as consideration for cooperation, assistance, exercise of influence, or an act or omission in connection with. And it goes on. But it's very clear that there is sufficient grounds for this matter to be investigated by the police. We have a nearly $1 billion sole-sourced contract awarded by the Prime Minister, the organization notified not by the Public Service or by the PCO, but by the Prime Minister's office. And we know that there are significant financial benefits that have been received by the family of the Prime Minister, totaling more than $350,000. We need to find out which cabinet ministers were aware that the family had been paid. We need to find out when they knew that, and we need to find out if they had participated in the cabinet discussion relating to this. And those are questions that cabinet ministers need to answer for today. Canadians deserve to have a Prime Minister. They deserve to have a cabinet and a parliament that they have confidence in, and it is clear that that confidence has been shaken by yet another scandal from this Prime Minister. Thank you very much.
We'll now go to questions from reporters, starting with questions on the phone. A quick reminder, one question, one follow-up per reporter. Nous allons maintenant passer aux questions, en commençant par les questions au téléphone. Un petit rappel que c'est une question suivie par journaliste. Operator, do we have our first question?
Thank you. Please press star one at this time if you have a question. Veuillez appuyer sur étoile 1 maintenant pour poser une question. Our first question is from Marika Walsh from the...
Operator, you still on the line? Operator, do we have a question? While we try to reestablish the line, we'll go to questions in the room.
Hi there, Mr. Barrett. It's David Cochran with the CBC. Your call for a police investigation. For this to be criminal, given the past payments to the Prime Minister's family, you'd have to presuppose that that money was some sort of an exchange for a pandemic response program that nobody could have seen coming back when Margaret Trudeau and Sacha Trudeau were doing this work. So is this really criminal, or is this just really stupid?
Well, I think that's for the on the question of if it's criminal, that's for the RCMP to decide. On whether it's stupid, I think that Canadians have said that this is ridiculous on its face. This is a program that was created out of thin air. It's of no new benefit to students. In fact, many of them are left disadvantaged as a result of the failure to launch of this program. But there are also benefits that continue to be received by members of the Trudeau family for their continued participation in this organization. That in and of itself gives rise to the need for the Prime Minister to recuse himself from this discussion. We know that there are ongoing dealings, not in the form of financial compensation with respect to the Prime Minister appointing one of the organization's co-founders to a federal commission. There continues to be this ongoing relationship, the details of which are coming out slowly through the media and through leaks. So we don't know if there are continued financial benefits. We know that the relationship persists and that some benefits continue to be conferred.
I think it's pretty clear based on where things are and what Mr. Dion has said that there's an ethical controversy here that warrants an investigation, and your committees are looking for documents. But your party has written the RCMP in the past on the government and called for police investigations in the past, and none of them have really turned in any sort of a criminal action in a major way. So, I mean, is this really just sort of a stunt to try to inflict some damage? I mean, how serious do you think this is, that this could be an actual crime as opposed to a really poor process that probably runs them afoul of ethical violations?
Well, by no means is it a stunt, but I'm going to turn over the mic to Mr. Poilievre to give a quick answer to that question.
Yeah, well, you're right. We have referred other matters to the RCMP, and it turned out with reason. In the case of the SNC-Lavalin affair, apparently there was an investigation ongoing. We don't know the current status of it. In the case of the Aga Khan Island trip, where the Prime Minister accepted a $200,000 vacation from someone who was seeking a $15 million grant from him, we did write the RCMP. They wrote us back not dismissing our complaint, actually. In fact, they did not contradict anything in our complaint. They did not exonerate the Prime Minister whatsoever. What they did do, and it didn't get a lot of media coverage, is they wrote us and they said that they could not, and I'm quoting here, productively pursue a criminal investigation. And that arouses a lot of questions. Why can you not productively pursue an investigation to a matter that does involve the exchange of benefit to a government official who is being lobbied by the same person who is the benefactor? So we hope that the police will operate in an independent manner this time, do their jobs, and consider whether or not there are criminal code provisions here at play.
I'm Molly Thomas, CTV National News. I wanted to understand, have you formally asked the RCMP, requested an investigation at this time, or are we hearing about this for the first time here? And what law specifically, what part of that act do you think has been broken?
So we haven't yet sent the letter. That'll be in the mail today. So you're hearing it here for the first time. And for frauds on government, Section 121, which both Mr. Poilievre and I read, I think there's a few different areas where there are grounds for the RCMP to take a look, and that's their expertise. It's the expertise of the police to take a look at the situation in its totality and to take a look at this particular act, because there are a few different dimensions, both with the Prime Minister's involvement, but also with the involvement of his family. And I think that's what's going to require, the powers of the police to get complete answers where that hasn't been possible to this point.
Mr. Barrett, I think Canadians are wondering about sole source contracts in entirety. I mean, the Conservatives have come under fire as well for sole source contracts. When we talk about Davy shipyards in the past, does the government...
You know that the Liberals have been in government for 5 years,
yes.
right? Oh, okay.
Yes, but does there need to be a rethink on the way that sole source contracts from any government are delivered, are chosen? Does there need to be a rethink on all of this?
Yeah, certainly any individual that has direct dealings with an organization, they should recuse themselves from any consideration, sole sourced or otherwise. And having a conversation about sole sourcing contracts and cracking the history books and taking a look at what happened a decade ago, perhaps, might be an excellent distraction that the Prime Minister desperately wants. But we have a situation where not only did we have a contract that was awarded? We have a sole source contract worth $1 billion, a program that was created out of thin air in parallel to a program that's already being delivered and is underfunded. You know, we called for funding for the Canada Summer Jobs Program to be doubled. The government said no. They found $912 million and gave it to a Trudeau and Liberal friendly firm. So is there an opportunity for us to take a look at sole source procurements? I think that's one of many things that Canada's Parliament could look at when it's not shuttered by the NDP and the Liberals. But today, it's essential that the connection between Justin Trudeau, his failure to recuse himself from these conversations, and the awarding of this contract are given the full force of sunlight so that we can see what's going on.
Christian?
Bonjour, la question sera pour M. Poilievre, s'il vous plaît. Vous demandez à la GRC d'enquêter pour savoir si c'est criminel. Et vous dites, vous-même, vous n'êtes pas sûr. Pourquoi vous hésitez? Pourquoi vous n'êtes pas sûr que c'est criminel?
Les forces policières ont le devoir de faire enquête pour savoir si quelqu'un a enfreint la loi. Et nous avons mentionné une section de la Code criminel qui est en jeu. Et on veut que les professionnels qui, on espère, peuvent agir de façon indépendante, fassent une décision là-dessus et que le processus indépendant soit prise. Donc c'est ça. Mais nous avons montré qu'il y a une section du code, de la Code criminel qui semble être en jeu. Et nous voulons que les policiers ont l'indépendance de regarder et nous dire que si oui ou non, ça justifie des allégations formelles par les policiers pour un procès.
Dans votre opinion, donc, l'enquête du commissaire à l'éthique n'est pas suffisante. Qu'est-ce que l'enquête policière apporte de plus à la situation?
Mais le commissaire à l'éthique la juridiction pour la loi du conflit d'intérêts. Les policiers ont la juridiction, la compétence pour le code criminel. Donc, ce n'est pas possible qu'un commissaire à l'éthique fait enquête par rapport au code criminel. Il n'y a pas un tel pouvoir.
Ça change quoi dans les faits?
Dans les faits sont les faits. Mais il y a deux lois en jeu. Il y a la loi sur le conflit d'intérêts et il y a la loi sur le code criminel. Il y a deux autorités différentes qui y sont responsables. Donc, nous voulons que ces autorités soient activées pour faire enquête et pour savoir si, oui ou non, le premier ministre a enfreint la loi quand il a dirigé un contrat d'$1 milliard à un organisme qui a payé sa famille $300 000.
We now have the phone line back. Operator, can we have the first question?
Certainly. Our first question is from Marie-Kay Walsh from the Globe and Mail. Please go ahead.
Hi there. My apologies. The teleconference dropped for a bit, so I'm sorry if this repeats a previous question. But can you please confirm your perspective on whether the Prime Minister should temporarily step down while the ethics investigation and now maybe this police investigation that you're requesting take place?
Well, I think that there's quite a bit of runway in front of us as far as what needs to be done, and there's still a lot more information that's coming out. Certainly, that question will be renewed once we have a determination from a police force whether or not a criminal investigation is being undertaken. What I think is incredibly important today is that we hear from the cabinet who were all party to this decision, who are all on the call. And we need to hear from the Minister of Finance. We need to hear from Minister of Public Safety, the Attorney General. Did they know that the Prime Minister's family was receiving significant cash to do these events? Were they aware? Or would it have been reasonable that they would have known? And I think that is really the top line question today for the government is what did the ministers know and when did they know it?
Okay. that's fair that that's your question, but that's not my question to you. So, if given what you're saying, why do you think that the Prime Minister should be staying on right now? I mean, why are you holding back from that, given that you're saying that you're accusing him of criminal behavior?
So I think, to be clear, we have raised and will invite an investigation into this behavior. I'm not personally leveling an accusation, but I do think that the situation gives rise to further scrutiny, and the situation continues to evolve, and we get different answers every day. Whether depending on what the media has found out, we get a different answer from the Prime Minister's office. So. Whether or not he's fit for office, after he was found guilty of breaking the Conflict of Interest Act in the SNC-Lavalin scandal, I didn't think that he was fit to hold office as the leader of a recognized party in the House of Commons then. So take from that what you will, and we'll see what the events of today and the coming week bring.
Opératrice, prochaine question.
Thank you. Merci. Our next question is from Beatrice Rittner from the Global News. Please go ahead.
Hi there. On Sunday, you said the Conservatives wouldn't try to bring down the government over the WE contract because it was canceled, and that's what you wanted. I'm wondering, is that still your position, and why or why not?
We're not looking to bring down the government on this issue. We're looking to get the truth and get accountability for Canadians. That's what they deserve from the opposition parties, and that's what they deserve from the official opposition. So we're starting to use the tools that are in the toolbox, and one of those is that we're calling for Parliament to resume, as we have been for months. There's a lot for us to take a look at. We're asking for an investigation on the procurement side. The Finance Committee has started an inquiry and has requested production of documents at Mr. Poilievre's request and colleagues, as well as hearing testimony from ministers. So those angles are going to be explored. And we'll use the parliamentary tools that are available. I requested that the Ethics Commissioner take a look at the situation, and he has agreed that sufficient grounds exist for there to be an investigation under the Conflict of Interest Act. And so we'll use parliamentary tools that are available to us. And I suppose it's also worth noting that even if it were, and it is not our desire to bring down the government on this issue today, Parliament isn't sitting. Parliament was shuttered by the Liberals and the NDP to shield the Prime Minister from accountability for his mishandling of this pandemic in many ways, and now it's conveniently shuttered while we look at another scandal.
Do you have a follow-up?
Yes. Yesterday, the leader of the Bloc Québécois said that given the revelations yesterday and the amount of money involved and the, quote, gross appearance of a conflict of interest, end quote, it's impossible for the Prime Minister to continue to do his job, exercise his function as Prime Minister. Do you agree with that? And if not, why not?
Well, I think that it's a question for the Liberal cabinet on what their involvement was in this issue, and for the Liberal caucus on their confidence on their leader in the House, who serves as the Prime Minister of Canada. The most effective way to have a change at the head of the Liberal Party is by their caucus, and they've been silent. You know, they've largely been silent. We even had a very reasonable request at the Finance Committee put forward for a study on this issue, and one of their members couldn't even bring herself to vote in favor of it. There needs to be a real examination of conscience in the Liberal caucus room, and they need to make a decision about whether or not there is confidence in the leader of their party. Because, from a perspective of the opposition, we're going to use the tools available to us, and we're going to have an investigation through the Ethics Commissioner. We're going to take a look at the Finance Committee. We're going to have the procurement investigated. We've today requested a police investigation, but the power to change out the leader of the Liberal Party in the House of Commons rests with the Liberal caucus. Those ministers, Liberal ministers, need to answer for what they knew and when they knew it. And I think that they should have a very frank discussion amongst Liberal MPs on whether they have confidence that their leader should continue to represent them in the House.
Not another question.
Non, mais en français, sur la même question.
En français, sur...
La question de...
La question sur la confiance des libéraux qui disaient voter avec vous pour le comité.
Mais je pense qu'il y avait un député qui a voté contre ma motion et la motion de l'NPD pour enquêter davantage. Mais nous voulons au moins un comité qui fait enquête pour savoir et pour obtenir des faits qui sont pour l'instant cachés. Nous allons établir une liste de témoins qui sera publiée dans les prochaines quelques jours. Et nous espérons que les témoins y arrivent pour répondre aux questions. C'est un enjeu extrêmement sérieux d'avoir un premier ministre qui achemine un contrat de près d'$1 milliard à un organisme qui a accordé $300 000 à sa famille. Donc, c'est le moindre des choses qu'on peut faire, c'est de permettre des questions surmontées à un comité parlementaire.
And the last question will be on the phone. Operator, do we have a next question?
Certainly. Thank you. And last question is from Stephanie Levitz from the Canadian Press. Please go ahead. À vous la parole.
Good morning, gentlemen. Can you just clarify for me, is it then, in your view, that the revelations that the Trudeau family, members of them, received speaking fees from we, that's the thing that elevates this to the potential criminal level?
In short, yes. So the revelation that $350,000 in cash was paid by this organization to immediate members of Justin Trudeau's family, that organization that he awarded a sole-sourced $1 billion contract to. Yep, that revelation raises the need for the police to take a look at it.
Follow-up?
Thanks. And yeah, just as a follow-up, I'm wondering, to what extent are you trying to work with the Bloc and the NDP to sort of achieve some kind of opposition consensus on this, insofar as it relates to pushing forward criminal charges, potentially recalling Parliament? Like, you talk about using the tools in your toolbox. Is there anything that the three of you can band together to try to do that could change the playing field here, besides bring down the government, which you've said you're not interested in doing?
Right, and we've seen collaboration already at Finance Committee, and I would expect that conversations are ongoing with members of other standing committees to exercise their function, and party leadership. They're having their conversations about their ability and willingness to recall the House, and so I expect that we're still pretty close to when we found out about these payments, and so those conversations are ongoing. But we've seen some collaboration to this point. I know we'll hear more from Conservative leader Andrew Scheer this afternoon, and in the meantime, I think that we have a lot to look at as far as, already one investigation triggered the request for the RCMP to take a look at it. And now I think that we can take a next step, and that is find out from the cabinet ministers where they're at with this. What did they know, and when did they know it? And did they participate in the conversations? Do they think the Prime Minister should have recused himself from that discussion? Those are very important questions that need to be asked today, and in the meantime, conversations between parties will continue to work together to get answers for Canadians.
This concludes the press conference. Ceci met fin à la conférence de presse. Merci.